The camera pans across a grand marble mansion glittering under golden sunlight. A stern-faced millionaire, Mr. Adrian Cole, sits before his open safe, stacks of gold bars and wads of cash glimmering inside. He stares coldly at the hidden camera feed, murmuring to himself, "Let's see what loyalty really looks like." A humble maid, Elena, enters quietly with a mop in her hand, unaware that her every move is being watched. But when she does something completely unexpected, something that changes Adrian's heart forever, the audience will learn that the richest people aren't those who have the most, but those who give the most. Adrian Cole had everything: a mansion worth millions, cars that purred like lions, and a reputation that intimidated everyone in his city. But beneath all his wealth, he was a man consumed by paranoia. He trusted no one, not his staff, not his business partners, not even his own family. He believed loyalty was a myth, a beautiful lie told by people who wanted your money. His last few maids had stolen from him jewelry, designer perfumes, even cash from his safe. Each time, his heart hardened a little more. When his butler recommended a new maid, Elena, a quiet widow in her early 40s, Adrian was skeptical. Another desperate soul looking for easy money, he scoffed. Elena, however, wasn't like the others. She was soft-spoken, humble, and seemed genuinely grateful just to have a job. She cleaned every corner meticulously and never complained. She often hummed a lullaby under her breath, the same song her late son used to love before he passed away in a hospital she couldn't afford. One evening, Adrian overheard her humming that tune while scrubbing the marble floor. For a moment, something stirred inside him, a distant warmth, but he quickly shook it off. "Don't get fooled by kindness," he muttered. "Everyone has a price." That night, Adrian hatched a cruel test. He left his safe open, deliberately exposing gold bars and thick bundles of cash. Then, he hid cameras in the study to record every movement. The next morning, Elena arrived early, just like always. Her footsteps echoed through the quiet halls as she entered the study. Her eyes landed on the open safe. She froze. Adrian watched her from his monitor in another room, his jaw tight. Would she take the bait? Elena stepped closer, her hand trembling, not with greed, but with confusion and fear. She peeked inside, her eyes widening at the sight of the fortune before her. Then, she whispered to herself. He must have forgotten to lock it. Oh dear. Adrian leaned forward, eyes narrow. To his surprise, Elena didn't touch a single note. Instead, she gently closed the safe door, picked up a piece of paper from her pocket, and wrote a message. Sir, I found your safe open this morning. I didn't want anyone else to see it and get tempted. Please take care next time. Elena. She left the note on his desk and walked away quietly, humming that same lullaby. Adrian froze, staring at the screen. For the first time in years, his eyes softened. But deep down, guilt began to claw at him. He had set a trap for a woman who had done nothing but serve him with honesty. And yet, he wasn't done testing her. The following week, Adrian decided to dig deeper, not into Elena's work, but her life. He sent his driver to discreetly follow her after work. What the driver reported back left him stunned. Elena didn't live in a home. She lived in a tiny rented room near the city's old railway station, a place barely big enough for a bed and a stove. She spent most of her salary not on herself, but on a sick old woman living next door. When Adrian heard that, he didn't believe it. He decided to see it with his own eyes. That night, he drove his luxury car through the narrow, muddy streets until he reached her building. Through the cracked window, he saw Elena spoon-feeding soup to the old woman, gently wiping her forehead with a damp cloth. Don't worry, Mama Rosa. Tomorrow I'll bring you medicine, okay? But you already work too hard, child, the woman whispered. Work is a blessing, Elena replied softly. As long as I can help someone, I'm rich. Those words pierced Adrian's soul like an arrow. The next morning, he called Elena into his study. She walked in nervously, hands clasped together. He stood beside the same safe, this time locked. Elena, he began, his voice low, I owe you an apology. She looked confused. For what, sir? Adrian turned his monitor around, showing her the footage from the hidden camera the moment she closed the safe and left the note. Her face turned pale, and tears welled in her eyes. "You were testing me," she whispered. "I was," he admitted. "And I'm ashamed. You showed me something I thought no longer existed, integrity." Elena lowered her head silently. "I don't have much, sir. But my mother used to say, if you can't be rich in money, be rich in heart. That's what I try to live by." Adrian's throat tightened. He turned toward his desk, opened a folder, and handed her a document. "This," he said, "is the deed to an apartment near the hospital. It's yours." Elena stepped back, shaking her head. "Sir, I can't accept that." But Adrian smiled through his tears. "You've already earned it, not for what you did, but for who you are." For the first time in his life, the millionaire felt something he hadn't in years: peace. That day, as Elena left the mansion, the house felt different. Warmer. Kinder. And for the first time, Adrian didn't feel rich because of his money, but because of the honesty of one poor woman who reminded him what humanity really meant.